Mic lock. But record. Finish. Mic lock. Button is on.
Hi guys, I thought I would do a very quick video on cyberpunk and why I chose the genre and what my thoughts are on it. So, first of all, a lot of people ask about cyberpunk and why I chose the genre. I think because in the beginning, the book that I was doing, I'd watched Synth Britannia, and there was a few things in that they were talking about. Some of those pop artists were talking about, synth pop artists were talking about, like people like Gary Newman and Human League, and I'm trying to think who else. We're all talking about, in Depeche Mode, I think. We're talking about a guy called J.G. Ballard, who I've not read, but most of his work was science fiction. And then I had heard this interesting genre called cyberpunk, which I wasn't all familiar, but I thought I'm going to get myself familiarized with it. And the book I was doing, or the book I'm writing, was kind of, being curious, being in places that you shouldn't be, and then knowing that you've got to be in those sort of places. I thought that's kind of the cyberpunk dystopian world that's kind of full of that sort of thing, kind of full of danger, full of futuristic ideas, and I was so into that. So that's what, because I thought it's going to be sci-fi punk, or it's going to be, along those lines, and this book kind of that I'm writing, The Glass Future, it was originally called Through the Looking Future, but I thought, if we're going to publish it, I don't think it's going to go well. So we have a bit of a joke with that one, but The Glass Future, I took glass as a punk word to keep it kind of, I wanted to have attitude, and glass was a punk word. The punks were using it a lot. Digitalization is also a punk word, and digital. And I think the future is like futuristics, like I don't know, but I kind of see this futuristic world in a world anybody can control. It's like anybody can have power to coerce people with. You kind of get the people who are against and for it, and technology is like, whereas back in the day you would have had Gypsy Meg with her Gypsy Rosalie with her ball, Mystic Meg, all sat in their caravans, scratching their heads, wondering why there's nothing coming from those crystal balls. And then, all of a sudden, they see the future, but a glimpse of it. And in 2000, when the millennium started, a film called The Matrix came out, and I didn't see that till just after the millennium. And something which got me was people were like, things in the future, you know, technology, mobile phones were becoming a big thing. I mean, I'd already seen a mobile phone, so I was like, what's the hype on mobile phones? Well, you fast forward today and everybody's got a phone. You know, a few years ago, you'd have been looked upon as a bloody yoppie or something if you had, you know, if someone got wind that you had a phone. Because that was all the age. And you know, literally people knew how important it was to have a phone. And now we're in the era of the smartphone. And is the smartphone now becoming a window into the farther future, where we can look out and, you know, all that Mystic Meg stuff, that's just like, that's so last year, as the kids would say, I think. And I think with this book, I think I kind of like the fact that it's so nitty, so gritty. It doesn't hold back on homelessness and unemployment and things that I've been angry with for the past few years. I'm throwing it into the book. There's actually like the homeless man, Oscar. He's tied to Mark, and he's in his gang. You don't find out till later on. So it's a bit of a spoiler alert, but I'm very sorry. Also, you find out that there's other people working for them, and it's like, you know, most of these homeless people are getting a bad name because of all these other homeless people, and that's like real life. You know, nobody gets a chance because they don't want a chance, because all these criminals are standing in the way. And that's my opinion, and it's a very, very strong opinion that I have. Unemployment, you know, employers don't want to employ disabled people because they're a waste of money. That's how employers think. I think that's wrong. But you know, so there's a lot of that in the book, and there is also somebody out to get you from somewhere, and what do they know, and all that kind of thing. I also wanted to have the like futuristical robotic police, huge corporations ran by artificial intelligence and all that kind of thing. You know, when we get to Xeron, you learn that the exchange is run by a group of people who run the program. They say what goes. They run their own programs. And it's kind of, once you are in a virtual world, anything goes. it's like the laws of this world are very different to the laws of a virtual world. And it's like laws are just nothing. It's about you're stepping in somebody's territory. And in fact, there's a YouTube video I watched about these guys in a tunnel, and it was showing these tunnels in
2 notification, 5:38 p.m.
in New York.
YouTube, 10 minutes ago. Red circle. TikTok, 4 minutes ago. Hi, Stephen Ball.
And these people, it was like, those tunnels are where those people are, on these different addictions. So these people taking that drug, they were in those tunnels, and those people taking that drug, they were in those tunnels. And what I wanted to have was, in the virtual world, in the realm of Xeron, people have their own territories. You walk in the wrong person's territory, you're going to get pooed on left, right, and centre. They walk into your territory, you have right to poo on them. And that's the way it should be. That's the way it should be. If you got your own territory, you guard it and it's yours. You go on their territory, they guard it, it's theirs. Because, for example, like in the book, instead of money, people want information. And that goes from in fact, in chapter 2, we meet 2 police that are robotic police. They've got no faces on, and they're in a part of underground Neville Street, and they're wanting, we haven't met the trawlers yet, who are against technologies that they were originally the trolls, but they're actually called trawlers, and they're against the new technology, but they're also going to guard Xeron at some point. Getting back to Xeron, this world, this virtual world, everybody living within it has their own right, has their own rules. There's no actual laws. You find that the people running the exchange, they just want people's information. If you haven't logged into the exchange, then you haven't got a profile, and without a profile, you haven't got a life. Sounds a bit like social media, but if you haven't got an avatar, you haven't got this and that, the other. And so, but there are ways that you can crawl under the radar if you know how. And, I think that the exchange, another thing that I wanted to put in was was like a death factory type of thing. I was listening to a group called Throbbing Gristle, and in one of their interviews they were saying the logo, people were thinking that it was a factory, and then they get upset because it was the Auschwitz, the ovens at Auschwitz. I like this kind of idea that, people, they're making factories to get rid of the population, and they'll put them in the factories and they'll cook them up in there. I like that idea somehow. It's like that sort of concentration camp idea. I don't know what it is. I just think that it's an idea that's probably in everybody's head somewhere. It's in the dark side of somebody's mind, and we've all got a dark side. And this book does not explore the dark side of my mind, but it explores the dark side of technology, for a better. And it's like the good side, and it's like, this world is kind of a dark and dangerous world, but you wouldn't know it because it's all kind of sugar-coated. You wouldn't know it. It's like, if you knew what was in that world, you wouldn't go anywhere near it. And that's the problem. Everybody living in this world has their own territories. They've got all their own territories to mark. They've got all their own profiles.
5:43 p.m.
Because the exchange has given them those profiles. And I think that without that, then people just won't be able to live properly. And this is what I love about cyberpunk. I can throw so much attitude into the book, and not hold back on it. I want to literally, when you read the book, I want to literally grab somebody by the throat and have them where I want them. And I think that's the whole idea, to grab all the employers by the throat and say, look, you're not giving people a chance, and I want to say, who needs the law, and if you are a law-abiding citizen and you want morals, then you should have a territory. And if someone steps in your territory, pissing on your rights, so to speak, you can piss on them. It's like there should be a get off my land type of thing. There isn't that now, but I just think that's the whole thing I want. There's a part of the book where if you're in that area, or if you're in those sets of tunnels, or if you're in that part where you shouldn't be, then people have rights to do whatever they wish to get you off that property, to get you off their territory. It's like you step into the wrong parts. It's like, if you step into the wrong parts, then, crumbs, you're going to get what's happening to you or whatever. And we are rescuing a princess, but that doesn't stop issues from, should I say, problems from getting in the way. I don't want too much sun getting on that screen. Otherwise, I'm going to have beautiful ghosting issues with my camera. Anyway, so I'm just going to finish off now talking about the problems with cyberpunk. A lot of cyberpunk doesn't have, it doesn't grab you by the balls. There are cyberpunk books that do, and cyberpunk stories that do. And boy, when they do, they take you to the dystopian fiction world where just everything seems to be, out of place. And that's what I love, out of place. But they seem to put things in there that just seems in place, there's no way. However cool it is when they say the world at our fingertips, in the 2000s, the very early 2000s, it was like, now we can go shopping by pressing a button and all of this. But anyway, I'm gonna go. But what do you guys think? Leave a comment.
Mic trigger. Mic lock. Finish recording.